It was July 2022. I knew nothing about web development, but I was extremely excited to get into it after watching thousands of videos about those people who got into web development within like 4 months after boot camp and now they work in FAANG companies. I thought that I can do the same thing, but spoiler, that didn't happen, and here's why. Because guess what? It is extremely complicated to become a web developer with zero experience, and especially when you learn programming language from scratch. Here comes the question. How I got my first offer as a front-end developer, although I was still, and I am kind of still in the bootcamp, studying my JavaScript advanced module. Hey y'all, my name is Silke and welcome back on my YouTube channel. I'm happy to see you all here. I know that it's been a while since I filmed something about tech, and several people have requested a video on how I got my first offer as a web developer, and I'm also going to cover more topics such as, can you become a front-end developer or web developer in like 4 months? What does it take? Do you need mathematics, and so on. Like, I have the list of topics somewhere here, and I'm going to leave either cards or timestamps so that you can switch and skip like the topics that you're not interested in, so this video would be informative for you. I would like to start with the question why I chose front-end development specifically. And the thing is that if you're considering to enter tech industry, I highly recommend you not to choose something because you think it will work out, you think that some kind of developers, they earn more money than UI UX designers, than QAs, etc. Don't do this, because back then in July, I thought the exact same thing. I thought the developers, they're like the coolest people in the industry. They have like the more value, but it's not actually true. You have to answer why you want to get into front-end development, or just, if you're curious about backend, for instance, ask several questions why. Just try to explore every single aspect of tech industry a little bit more. So go and read on the different sources what is more convenient for you, for your character, for your style of life, for your skills, soft skills, etc. Because, for example, if you hate to solve problems, if you cannot just be disciplined and focused, I would say that software engineer and web development is not for you. All the time you will face problems, you will solve problems, you will have to do this on your own. And if you want to enter web development just because it sounds cool, just because this career looks prospective, you will earn a lot of money. Trust me, there are a lot of ways to earn money easier than this. So going back to why I chose front-end development, that's a funny story that I'm a little bit too ashamed to talk about, is that because I didn't really know how things work in tech industry, and I've kind of made a mistake, is that I thought the web developers are the coolest people. I didn't even consider to go into like UI UX design because I'm an artist, but I thought the front-end developer is the best option for me because they work with UI UX stuff, because they build the website, they make a skeleton, which stands for HTML, CSS, they write the logics, they code the logics of the websites, which is JavaScript and so on, right? So that sounds more interesting than backend, for example, for me. And I just started to look up for the information. I thought, well, for the artist, sounds kind of suitable, and I was like, okay, let's do that. So before I started all of that, I decided that I need to try this out for a little bit. So I decided to pursue JavaScript basic course, and I succeeded. I like it. I was like, well, maybe I can do that. So yeah, that's kind of how I chose front end. After that, here comes the question why I chose bootcamp over CS degree and self-studies. And I'm going to start with the first thing that I have declined almost instantly is self-studies. So frankly saying, I have denied self-studies almost instantly because in order to succeed, I know my kind of character. I know how I just basically learn things without, mentorship, without other people helping me, without proper educational resources, without structure. And I just knew that I will fail for sure. So if you have a solid plan, if you're ready to look for information and filter and understand which information is awful, which information is, not really relevant, etc., learn how to self-market, because even if you have a lot of hard skills, You will not have HR department around you helping you out with your employment, with your resume, with your CV, whatever. They will not tell you what kind of mistakes you have. You will not have like test interviews or, questions and so on. So you will be completely on your own. And there will be no one to review your code. Plus, you will have to figure out the formula of like, what is the percentage of the theory that you watch? Like, what is the percentage of your practice? You will have to figure out where you have to get these practices. Like, for example, Code Wars, LeetCode, maybe Free Code Camp is a nice resource as well. Maybe you should consider CS50, watch some Harvard lectures, etc. But you will have to do like insane amount of work, and it will be more complicated, more time consuming, and you can get a burnout. Because when I was trying those like JavaScript basic course on my own, that was complicated. I didn't have any mentorship. I knew nothing about like for off loops, for end loops, etc. And I had so many questions. I didn't even understand like what is the meaning of index, like why it exists. And you will have to find people who will help you to answer those questions. Get ready for spending like your whole day reading documentation or just chatting on Stack Overflow. If you have a solid plan, if you know how to achieve your goals, if you're disciplined, if you're motivated, but remember the thing that motivation doesn't equal success, because it can appear and disappear, and you will just, you cannot drive your passion and motivation. It's not possible. You have to be disciplined, the goal, your mental problems, for instance, because when you're coding, I know that you got imposter syndrome as well. So you have to watch it, because it can ruin literally everything that you invest in. And if you cannot solve a problem for several days or weeks, you start to think that maybe this is not for me. So keep these things in mind. That's the disadvantages of self-studies that I have noticed. So that went away. The next one is CS degree. I don't even know if I should explain why I didn't choose it, because to get CS degree, you have to have two things at least: funds and time. And passion for computer science. I have some acquaintances who are pursuing their CS degree, and they plan to go into boot camp after they finish, because CS degree, it's a degree, but they don't prepare you for employment. They don't have this kind of interviews, tech checks, etc. You'll learn a lot about computers, architectures. You'll have a lot of theory, but not a lot of practice. That's a problem. So CS degree doesn't guarantee you employment, while some boot camps do. I would say even half of them. So that was also the reason why I thought that's a no for me. Besides the fact that I already have a full-time job and I'm already a full-time student, and I was I have to figure something out. And here comes the boot camp. So for me, boot camp was the best option, and here's why. I knew that I'm going to get structured lessons with the best information possible. I knew that I'm going to have mentors around just checking my tasks and all of it, and I can talk to people who already work in the industry. I can learn about the things that I can expect from the market, and one of my favorite is that I will get employment guarantee. And a small remark / disclaimer is that if you want to get this thing, you have to check the contract with the bootcamp that you're signing in. If they have the stuff in their promotion or ads, we're guaranteed that you're gonna get into FankLink in 4 months. You're gonna become the best front-end developer in the world. No, that's not gonna happen. You have to check the contract, and if they have written in properly all the things regarding the employment, you can sign it off, and you can just be completely calm about when you finish the course. You will get a HR department that will watch your resume. They will help you to compile your portfolio. They will register you on LinkedIn. They will help you, and if you're gonna be one of the best students, they will recommend you, or they can hire you in their company as well. Because bootcamps, they have a lot of partners, and it's easier to get into industry. And one of my favorite things about bootcamp is that you get constant support. I have maybe 300 people on my course or something, and you can find so many interesting people who will help you all the time. If you're off, you're not motivated, you're stuck, you cannot solve anything, just go and talk to them. You can make connections. You can offer them like to create some kind of a project together. A lot of people in my course, they have started startups with just, with their classmates, and now they're successful web developers. It's not actually sponsored by my bootcamp. If you want to like know the name of the bootcamp where I study, you can DM me or just, write in comments, because I don't want to like, say, this is my bootcamp, just go and study there. No. Getting back to the thing, if you can become a front-end developer in 4 months from scratch. My honest reply to this is no, because it's not because I couldn't become a front-end developer. I still study, and I can remind that I got my first contract already. I think that it's possible to become a front-end developer. If you want to write, I'm sorry for saying this, shitty code, if you haven't studied front-end before or any kind of web development stuff, To me, I haven't seen those kind of people. If you want to dedicate like several hours a day, if you have 12 hours to study in bootcamp on the daily basis, yes, you will become a good front-end developer. But if you have several hours per day, as I do, no, definitely no, because when I was at my fourth month of the course, I think I have only started to learn JavaScript Basics Advanced or something. So, and that's with constant repetition of the information that I've learned, a lot of practice and all of it. I even thought that maybe I'm dumb, maybe that's not for me, but that's a trick. All of these videos that you're seeing on the internet saying that you will get into Google within 4 months if you study, a lot. It's not true. There is a lot of competition. You have to hustle. I don't know how you have to just forget about your personal life. You have to forget about, going out and talk to people about your job. So if you're ready to give up everything that you have and, become, middle front-end developer in 4 months, you can try. But if you want to keep proper work-life balance, don't do this. That's not the best road. That's what I can say from my side. How long does it actually take to feel more confident while coding? It depends, because, I can do a lot of stuff right now. I don't think that I'm a good web developer. No, I still don't think so. I have strong imposter syndrome, and I bet that you have it as well, or you have or that you ever experienced that. So be ready for the fact that you will doubt your code almost on the daily basis, because development reminds me American roller coaster. Why? It's because when you solve something relatively easy, you feel like Elon Musk, and when you cannot solve a problem within, an hour, depends on the problem, right? Or a week or a month, you feel like the dumbest person ever. And then comes one of your classmates or mentors and tells you that, you forgot a semicolon there. But from what I've heard, this kind of things, they happen to senior web developers, to team leads even, so that's completely all right. And the answer to this question is that you probably will never feel way too confident. You'll feel better from time to time, but it also depends on your character. Finally, we got to the point how I got my first contract as a web developer while still studying JavaScript Advanced in my bootcamp. My answer is connections. Always make connections. I've been hustling a lot to meet a lot of people. I was attending Zoom calls. I was helping other people out. I've got my first job through connections, not through my CV, not through my interview. I was just sending some of my friends, some colleagues, take a look, this is my new landing. I'm just, setting front-end development and stuff, and I got hired. That was a contract, but still, it's not a company or something. But this is how I got my first job. I'm not finishing the course yet. If you want to do the same, I highly recommend you not to keep yourself in this small, bubble and just sitting and, coding, thinking that the only way how you can get a job is through HR department. It's not really true. Just show yourself to the world, talk to people, don't be shy, don't be, anxious. Even when you show your code to more experienced well, mentors and web developers, they can either help you out, they will, they will see how you code, maybe they will like your style, and they can hire you. That's how it works, because on my course, relatively, I would say 30% of people get a job while still studying. So that's the cool thing that I can tell about bootcamp and about just, communication in general. What I want to say is that I'm not some kind of outstanding student. I'm not really good at math. I have failed my high school exam, which is like equals to SAT. So just don't be way too hard on yourself, and you will get through it eventually. Thank you so much for listening to my small little podcast. I can make another video soon, so if you want to see it, just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.